few times where it's just like, man, they're just acting like I'm not saying anything.
The hint of why it's such a good act? It wasn't an act at all.
Yep. I couldn't actually get it to work. And the fact that it's working now today, I don't know what changed.
Science.
Okay, and I'm echoing in the stream now.
Okay. Try to say something again.
Something again? Will I echo? That sounds better.
Okay.
Science again. I said science again.
Alright, we can hear Baggins.
Excellent. Oh, I probably should promote that we're live. Okay, Baggins, you might want to.
Am I too loud?
Mic.
My what?
You might want to mute your mic while you're. Sounds like eating potato chips.
No, I'm not eating anything. I'm taking stuff out of a plastic bag.
Okay, well, you still might want to do it for that too.
No. Now what? Your move.
That's not just your cyborg joints bending?
I think you're misunderstanding which parts of him are a robot.
None of my joints are cybernetic. That's why they make horrible noises whenever I move.
Oh, okay.
They only sound like scraping metal.
Do I sound super loud to you guys in the chat, or...
I don't know if we have anyone in chat yet.
Well, to you guys, do I sound loud?
You don't sound loud to me, but that's a completely different thing than the stream itself.
Because I think I'm coming out loudest in the stream.
Sorry, I'm getting the promotion done.
I'm pulling adhesives off my skin and it's painful, so I'm otherwise distracted.
No worries, we haven't even started yet.
It's always been amusing to me how different Raynor looks in StarCraft 1 and 2.
I know, I was just looking at him thinking, like, I don't remember him having a unibrow.
I think it's more of a Cro-Magnon brow.
While I prefer the way you said it, it's Magnon.
There's no way to know.
There really is.
This seems impossible.
It's funny, you could time the delay of hearing the stream back, because it makes me pause as I'm talking.
Yeah, I don't know how radio people do it. Because they get used to hearing themselves. And could never be me.
Well, it's about time to get us live, but I think my volume needs to get turned down a titch.
You know, I'm seeing if Kamizite can pop over real quick and give feedback.
I'm way louder than you, that's for sure, coming through the stream.
It's a problem. Looking. Checking. Hopefully that'll do it. All right. I will get us started. Here we go.
Quick test. Sounds good.
Back in the before times, known as my freshman year, I had never heard of a thing called a LAN party. But then I moved into the dorms, and the Harris twins, they started sharing around a CD. I'm fairly certain we all had the exact same CD, a cracked version of Starcraft. And they said, no, it's awesome because every room in this dorm is connected in a LAN. And I said, what's a LAN? Because I didn't know. So I booted up my Windows XP, and they showed me how to install it because as a cracked version of StarCraft, you could just use the same CD key. It didn't matter. I eventually would buy the battle chest to get the full thing, just to let you all know. But installed it and started playing StarCraft 2. And we started playing StarCraft 2 basically every night for hours. My grades freshman year weren't the best. This is episode 66 of I Think We Overleveled, and we are talking about LAN parties, a lost art in gaming, because it's just too dang convenient to hook up via the internet. How you guys doing?
Doing all right.
Doing all right. And just to not confuse there, by StarCraft 2, he means Brood
Oh, I kept
War.
saying... I meant StarCraft, the origin. Actually, no, I guess they did give me Brood War, yeah. I just keep... I so instinctively say 2.
I know. But technically, it was the second game. Well, I guess expansion pack. They don't really have those anymore.
I mean, they have... we just call it DLC.
Yeah.
There's expansions.
It's just they didn't have... It wasn't downloadable at the time.
Yeah.
They have expansions. Like, MMOs have expansions, and, you know, like... no, we still have expansions.
Yeah. But no,
Like, what's the one that just came out with for Elden Ring? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. All I know is I was really glad I found a video of someone installing StarCraft on their Windows XP machine.
Oh my goodness. Windows XP. Those were the days, man.
Back when Microsoft made good operating systems. But that's a different topic. Anyway,
Insert
what was
disc 17.
Yeah, what was your first LAN party game?
Who wants to go first?
You know, as far as actual LAN party, it was, I'd say in my case, it'd be more just trying to do a direct call, like over a modem. I don't even think it was a 56K modem, but calling someone else's house directly to try and set up a Warcraft 1 match. And that was something. But as far as like actual official LAN parties, I didn't go to too many of them just because it required lugging around a lot of equipment. And
It did.
it was quite a bit. But I guess though, when I was at student housing, we did have a ton of people playing Team Fortress 2. We were all playing together in the same room, even though that didn't require a LAN because Steam was a thing already. But a lot of TF2 as a college student, that's for sure.
You didn't go to any of the Quark LANs?
I did actually. It was one that Dane's group. It was in the basement of Cool One's basement, and he supplied just a bunch of laptops. and they were all playing Warhammer 40K Dawn of War 2. That actually was my first introduction to Warhammer 40K. Really, I mean, I recognize. I'm sure I saw it before, but I had no idea what it was before. But that was my first time actually really seeing it, and I actually did have fun playing Warhammer with them. I actually wanted to get the game to play with them after that. We didn't play it too much, but it was fun to go over and play on someone else's computer with a bunch of, just a bunch of guys in a basement playing Dawn of War. So that was a good time.
Baggins, what was your first?
I can't remember if it was. I think it was Warcraft 2.
Warcraft 2, really?
Warcraft 2. My brother-in-law set up a LAN at his office, and my brother and I went up and played against him. And it was he was one of those who played a lot, and my brother and I never really played, and so it was the two of us against him.
Okay.
And I remember the map that we were playing on. He didn't realize it, but there were tiny little trails in the back, like through the forest, that like you could barely fit a single unit through. And my brother and I found them, and so we sent a bunch of DDT teams, Dwarven Demolition teams, through those trails and just completely demolished his base at one point. It was an interesting map though, because it was set up so that oil was required to build like a mage tower or a griffin bastion, and there was no oil on the map, but you started with a certain amount, and so it's like you have a certain resource, you can make a decision what you want to do. So it was it was really interesting though. Yeah, the other possibility was it could have been Quake 2, where a friend of mine, his dad worked at a computer store, and they had a LAN in the back room, and for his birthday he just had a bunch of us over and we played Quake, and I didn't know how to play Quake, and so I got my butt handed to me repeatedly, but it was still fun.
Yeah, it's one of those things, I didn't realize how bad it was at the time, but especially like late 90s, early aughts, there was such bad system security by like whoever the tech department is. There were just computer games installed all over.
Oh, yeah, don't get me started about my senior year of high school.
Oh, actually, you know what? You're right. I do remember a high school LAN party using the school's equipment.
You know what? Actually, now that I think about it, that would have been my first as well. But it wasn't any official game. It was a C version of Bomberman that we would play.
Oh, nice.
But that would be my first LAN experience. Unless I count playing. No, my first LAN experience was Hearts in middle school, now that I think about it.
Wow.
We figured out we could do that. And I introduced people to shooting the moon.
So
they're just like, Jordan's gonna lose so bad. He's getting all the hearts.
Yep. It's like, what? It's like, it's called shooting the moon. And then everyone was trying to shoot the moon the entire time.
Oh, of course they were.
They learned, but not well.
Yes. It only works when you have an amazing hand, or they don't know what it is.
And people don't realize you're trying to do it.
Yeah. No, now that I think about it, Hearts was my first.
That's funny.
That's funny.
Yeah, now that I think about it, we had a networking class, so we had a lab. We had a couple labs, computer labs that were just for people in this networking class. And during class, all the time we'd be playing, like all of us in the class would be playing a game of Scorched Earth with each other.
Scorch.
Okay. I think it was the Scorched Earth 2000 specifically. So we're all just launching stuff at each other with tanks. It was good stuff.
See, when I was in high school, my senior year, I had to take a keyboarding class because it was like a requirement to graduate, and it was like the most basic, like learning how to type, learning how to make a Word document, learning how to make a PowerPoint. Except, yeah, and I'm talking like old school PowerPoint, like none of the fancy stuff we've got today.
Yeah.
But I remember like somebody had installed, and so I'm just gonna pull it up. You're talking about Scorched Earth?
Oh my
Worms
goodness.
Armageddon.
Dude, me and my friends would have sleepovers, and we'd play Worms Armageddon all night long.
Yeah, this game. I mean, it basically was just a full rip off of Scorch,
Oh yeah,
but
hilarious.
animated and hilarious and like just ridiculous. Where you're worms who are launching nuclear weapons at each other.
Yeah, that's the key with
And the
worms.
holy hand grenade.
Oh yes.
No, the key with worms is just the cartoonishness of everything.
Mm-hmm. Okay, now this guy right here, there were people who were like insane with these grappling
Oh
hook
yeah.
tool.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
So,
that wasn't
I guess-
me.
Yeah, I guess with my like high school friends, I wouldn't call it a LAN party because we just used a singular computer to do this. But like I said, I remember one time we were having a sleepover, and there was like 4 of us there. We didn't sleep because we ended up playing Worms Armageddon until like 7 in the morning, and then we just went home and went to bed. At the beginning of the day. But we had been playing Worms Armageddon for hours and hours and hours.
So y'all play in hot seat mode?
Yeah, because like where you just switch between the two, but you're using the same computer. Yeah.
Yeah. The other game that we would play though was somebody had installed Unreal Tournament.
Ah,
Nice.
And so this was my my first exposure to Unreal Tournament. I was just like, I had no idea what they're playing, but I looked over and I saw like 3 people running around shooting each other. I was like, wait, what's going on here? I didn't even know this was the first one that they actually had because I didn't know that it was even really a LAN setup. I just thought it was individual workstations at the time because I'm old.
Like this game, we didn't play LAN party style. It was we'd get on Roger Wilco. Do you remember that?
no.
This is before the days of Discord, way before the days of Discord.
Okay.
This was like a program where you could get in and do voice chat online. Like, can you imagine people can do that? It was amazing. And so we'd get on a Roger Wilco server and play Unreal Tournament together.
Yeah.
Man.
Networks couldn't handle that back when I first started.
No, the thing I remember, because I didn't have Unreal Tournament, I just remember seeing how, like, the setting of, like, this map, like, in particular, like, just, it felt so awe-inspiring, because it's like, they're in space.
Yeah, it was crazy.
It's like, look, they're really out there.
Man, the weapons in this game were so good.
Oh, they were great. Well, because each weapon had a secondary fire. So there was like a plasma rifle that you could the right click, the secondary fire, it shot out like this plasma ball. And then if you shot the plasma ball with the beam, it exploded. And it was just like, okay, this is cool.
Well, my favorite weapon was, I think it was called the Ripper. The one that shoots like the razor blade, like the spinning saw blades.
Oh, I forgot about that.
And the secondary fire, the saw blades would bounce off the walls, so you could ricochet and hit people.
Okay.
With it. Oh, it was
I
wonderful.
vaguely remember that. I'd forgotten about that.
Yeah, I was not familiar with Unreal Tournament, because we did not have that. This person being such a jerk, punching people off. No, one of the things I love about like this era of the games is like they're because it was still kind of experimental, the idea of playing with this many people at once. Things like the map design, they're not as honed in as they are now, where they sit there and, you know, they're really thinking things through.
See, I miss those days. I miss the janky days.
Yeah. Well, and it's the problem of it's born out of ignorance, and you can never go back to not knowing.
Right.
And I wouldn't want to go back to not knowing, but at the same time, you know,
I just miss that time.
Yeah.
Okay. What he just did, I didn't know you could do that, where you put down the teleporter disc and then launch the disc across the map. Huh.
There's he just did that secondary.
Yep, the secondary, and then you shoot it and it explodes.
Yep.
Man, I'm still learning new things about this game I didn't know.
A lot of competitive depth.
Like I've never.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was gonna move the topic. So if you have more.
Oh, I was just gonna say I've never really been a super competitive gamer. Like that's not what I enjoy about games. But I remember playing that. I actually ended up doing decent after the first couple rounds as I figured stuff out. But it was one of those you become a big fish in a small pond, and you think you're better than you are, and then you meet people who are a lot better than you, and you're just like, oh no, I just suck. So
yeah, but the thing I really miss about those days is the small ponds to, you know, learn to swim in.
Yep.
Whereas now every game you're just dumped directly in the ocean with the biggest of the biggest fish, and usually the most what's the word I'm looking for? Trollish of the big fish as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't actually enjoy playing competitive online games anymore. I don't care for it. It's like this isn't the way it was when I was a kid, and what it is now is not very fun.
Just everybody's completely min-maxed it, and
they're all too many tryhards now.
Mm-hmm.
It's why I want to, and I have no clue what my enforcement mechanism would be. I would love to start like a 40 and up Smash League.
Oh gosh.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Dad League or whatever it would be called.
The Dad Bod League.
Yeah, I don't know. It was just, it's a concept I had, and I just started laughing at the idea. I don't know where I'd find the time, but I like the concept.
I like it.
But no, for me, the other part of the experience of StarCraft, back to that freshman year, and we discussed this a little bit on a different episode, because it's sort of my origin story with Petrivka, is the fact that one day we set up a match out of nowhere, and you know, just like we would do, and we're just waiting for everyone to get in, and suddenly a name showed up that we didn't recognize, and we're just like, "Hi, who are you?" And they're like, "Hi, I'm Paul," or whatever, and it's like, I just kind of hit the LAN button on a lark. I didn't expect to see a game. I was like, "Oh yeah, we play regularly. Where are you?" And he's like, "Hull," like he said, basically the same hull as us, so we should recognize the name. We're like, "We don't know who you are." And then someone goes, "Wait, what building are you?" I was like, "I'm in Budge." And holy crap, we're in Stover. And that's when we found out the entire complex of buildings was on the same LAN.
Dang.
And that opened up insane opportunities. And we took advantage of it. Like, as unproductive as we were, suddenly we could be unproductive in a much more meaningful way.
Yeah.
The big we'd get in trouble because, you know, there's a curfew in the dorms and stuff, and we'd be up late at night after batches, you know, reminiscing. People would be like, "Shut up," because they're trying to sleep. Oh, it was so much fun though. meeting after, like, and so, like, it was just some of those things where it's because everyone is stuck, playing in close proximity. It's that whole familiarity changes how you play.
Well, yeah, well, that, and there's also a lot of the trollish behavior gets removed when, you're in that
Or
proximity. Or, well, okay. The fact that the person can come up and punch you in the face in person does make sure that you keep the trolling to more good-natured, let's say, I would hope. But
so this Petrivka referenced this last week. There's a guy in our group named Peter who he wasn't very good at StarCraft. 'Cause he didn't join up with us at the same time as like when we started, but as it got popular, he joined in. But he had never like gotten in on trying to understand the strategy of what he was doing. He was playing Protoss, and there was a guy named Jahanahan. I don't remember his real name. I think it might have just been John, but his gamer name was Jahanahan. And Peter was on his team and he was complaining about Peter. And he's like, I'm getting mowed over. And I look over, Peter's just got an arbiter just kind of flying around doing nothing. And knowing Peter, it was just something like, arbiter, that sounds cool. And he built one. And it just always stuck with me and Gordon as, arbiter, that sounds cool.
I mean, arbiters are cool, but you kind of need stuff to back them up.
Well, and it's a micro heavy unit. Like you have to know what you're doing with it. You can't just have an arbiter.
Well, I mean, yes and no. Like, often you have it just for the cloaking, because if you have a giant fleet of carriers and you have arbiters cloaking them, then you don't have to spend too much time microing the arbiter when you're just trying
the real
to
power of the
them.
arbiter is not the cloak. It's the
it's the to use
field.
Like the recall and all that's a lot of I never got good at doing that, but I still liked using arbiter just for the cloak.
No, I don't know. It was just, and it was all those little things. Like the one that I'll always remember. Basically the way we'd always play, we tend to have like a 3-way match going because we'd have enough people to do something like that. And so the Harris twins, who were the ones the most familiar with the game, they had played in actual LAN tournaments and stuff. They'd be on one team, and then we'd have 2 other teams of 3. Or early on, we might have a team of 4 versus those 2. And it was fair. We'd sometimes win. And I just remember one of the early matches like we played where I was starting to get like where I knew, okay, I'm actually a decent player. Not great, but decent. And I knew what was going to happen just because of how the teams were situated. I knew Mitchell Harris was going to be coming straight for me and was going to mow me down because I just was not good enough to get up a defense early enough against him. Like he could just always bum rush me. And so instead, I offered a token resistance, and I just instead rushed to building a command center and flying it away on top of a hill where he couldn't see because the map had a weird design where there were areas where you could land stuff, but you couldn't walk to. And to him, it just looked like I had a really crappy opening and he mows through me. And I had made a habit of never surrendering and forcing people to destroy all my buildings. Which
I did that too, but people kind of get mad at you for doing that.
They do. But it's because I was building to something. And this is what I was building to. He thought he wiped me out and started focusing on everyone else. Well, on this map, there was an island with mega resources on it. And so as soon as I felt like he was off doing something else, I float my entire colony to the super island and just start building wraiths over and over and over again. Because I can only build air. And then I cloak them.
And you don't have a drop ship,
Yeah, I cloak them, get them to where I was, then uncloak them, get the energy get back, cloak them again, and I marched them up the wall because Mitchell had one fatal flaw that I knew about. He would always just put all his overlords in one area in the back where he felt they were safe, and he'd like guard them with I forget, spore towers, I think they were.
Yeah, spore towers.
And I knew that I could just, if I just ran through with my wraiths, I could attack all his overlords.
So we just ignore the spore towers.
Yeah, just ignore the spore tower, and I just mow through all his overlords. And Mitchell's just minding his own business. All of a sudden, it's like, spawn more overlords. And he's like, I should have enough. And then suddenly he looks at his supply is like 130 out of 5 or something. He's just like, what is going on? And I just type in chat, hi, Mitchell.
See, it's always fun when you do something completely illogical.
Yes.
And it just completely, like, that's what I love about the smaller ones, where it's not everything is min-maxed and everything has to be perfect, because you can do dumb stuff like that. I remember the first LAN party I did with you, Splice, over at Dane's apartment.
Yes.
And that's just such a great. I'll let you tell the story.
Oh, so basically, they announced they were doing this LAN party, and I had always wanted to try something, but never had the guts to do it. But suddenly, it's a LAN, and I just say to my team, all right, everyone, I'm going to SCP rush. And Dane just types in chat, ... okay. And the thing is, it's such a dumb plan. They weren't ready for it. And I plow through someone's base because they're just like, what is going on? And because I just landed my base next to theirs, like, and so by the time that they're starting to kill stuff, I'm now like churning out more SCVs right next to them. It's the dumbest combat ever.
It's an absolutely stupid move, but it's one of the, like, it really is the accurate. It's just dumb enough that to work.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, well, sometimes it is.
And the fun thing is, like, at the pro level, I've watched a lot of it's dumb enough to work strategies, but because they call it all ins, it's okay. Where they know it's a risk. They're rolling the dice. They're kind of being like, he wouldn't be stupid enough to do that. But the pros are just so like good at the game. They do things like, wait a minute, there's only 8 SCVs. At this point in the game, he should have 9. What's he up to? and they're just so good. They notice little things like that.
Yeah.
That hint that. But that's the other thing. They're so good at it, they can sometimes play inefficiently on purpose to get them guessing the wrong strategy. Because it's like, well, he wouldn't do that on purpose, would he? And the answer is, he might. But I don't know. It's one of the things that I like about Starcraft in particular, that the asymmetry of the game allows for a lot of very interesting choices you can make. The other one, so near the end of the semester, we did a doubles tournament, and I teamed up with a guy named Ben Sellers, who he played Protoss, I played Terran, and we came up with this rush that no one would be ready. Because, it's 2v2, so there's some strats you can do that you wouldn't normally. And we had perfected this rush, our medic zealot rush. And no one was ready for it. And we started mowing through people. And it felt awesome. And then we ran into the Harrises. And they destroyed us. But it worked until then.
It feels so good when you can get those, strategies to work, though.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I'm just thinking, in StarCraft 2, I wanted to pull it off so bad, and I was playing with my old high school buddy. So, like, someone who I hadn't really talked to, seen in years, who could always mop the floor with me in StarCraft 1. And he was really getting into StarCraft 2. Mm-hmm. And, I like to play Protoss. I've always liked Protoss, both in 1 and 2. but I was able to pull the whole, sneak in one probe into their base and have it hang out there, and the bait, and just have him hiding,
Yep.
and then you get a bunch of nexuses up, and get the resources ready just to do a massive warp in. So you get the pylon down, and then just at the back of their base, just warp in a bunch of zealots, and just wipe out their their main base and drones. And so I just wipe out all his drones, and I just crushed him. I'm like, yes, I pulled it off. Like I'd seen someone do that before. I wanted to do that strategy, and I pulled it off on my old high school rival, my old buddy. And of course, when I ask him, like, how was that, as I often do when I now realize it's a mistake that I do this, when I finally win against someone who can usually mop the floor, and I'm like, oh, how'd I do? And they're you could tell they're a little butthurt that I won, and so they're like, oh, well, that's a pretty noob strategy, but yeah, okay, you won.
Well, I luckily had the opposite situation with the Harrises, because it started off with them just playing, like I said, 2v4ing us. And as we started playing and started figuring things out more, they would start digging into their bag of tricks. And so, like, the first time that Tyler cannon rushed me, and like I hadn't even considered the idea of locking someone in with cannons, because I didn't think of using buildings as offense. And so when it happened, I was just like, holy crap, this is genius. And afterwards, he was kind of worried I'd be salty about it. And I'm like, no, that was cool. And he's like, I'm glad you guys are chill about it. Some people aren't. But it was just, they're pulling
their
out
base with photon cannons.
Well, no, closing off my base with photon cannons.
Yeah. Well, yeah, your base. Yeah, because there are times I do remember in StarCraft 1 when I wanted to be really, like, take forever to try and kill me sort of thing. Because how you said you didn't surrender early, you wanted them to demolish you.
Yeah.
And there are times for Protoss where I just really want to be cheeky, and I would just cover as much of the map as I can with photon cannons. So.
It can lead to some of the most closest battles ever.
So it's like I was gonna lose. There was no question that I was gonna lose. But the fact is, like, you want to get to my base, you have to make it through this giant sea.
It just reminds
photon cannons.
Day 9 used to do a segment called Fun Day Monday, where he'd have a criteria that you'd have to do. But one of them he did just like closest games ever, and people would just send him the closest, or win with the fewest units, I think it was called. And so it was, when people have been whittled down to their last thing. And like the first one, it's these two guys, and it's StarCraft 2, but one of them, it's Protoss versus Protoss. One gets all his units wiped out, but he still has buildings. The other one has like no buildings, but has has like one building and 3 stalkers left. And they have wiped each other out in such a way that neither one of them can build anything. And so, the guy who has no units, he has a bunch of photon cannons. And
they're too powerful.
Yeah, they're sitting here and they start chatting. It's like, so what happens now? And I love it. And it's like, I think if we can't kill each other, it ends in a tie. But not, or I think if it ends in a draw, we get a tie, but I'm not sure. To which Day 9, so it's like, I think a draw might be a tie, and I'm pretty sure. And he's sitting over here, he's like, so what now? And they start reading through, like, because there's a warning that pops up if, like, no units have been killed or buildings have been built for, like, a certain amount of time. And it's basically, it's like, in order to extend the timer, you have to either destroy a building, build a building, kill a unit, build a unit. Like, there's just all sorts. There's so many ways to extend the timer. And both of them, like, they're trying to kill each other, but they're having a great time at finding out this new rule. And then it's like, so what do we do? And it's like, in theory, 3 stalkers should be enough to destroy all your photon cannons. And it's like, And the guy's like, very well then, we shall see. And then it cuts to day 9. And it's like, the important thing here is that Suifoda has accepted his villain's role. You cannot you cannot win. You cannot beat me. My cannons are too powerful. And it's just this slow match of the guy trying to find a way to do just enough damage and then retreat with his shields recharging to kill these cannons.
Now this wasn't LAN though. We're starting to stray. Just
but anyway, Fun Day Monday, day 9.
Check it out. It was a wonderful segment.
Yeah. Anyway, so the other one that happened a lot my freshman year was Halo Combat Evolved Demo Edition.
The fact that you're specific to Demo Edition is amusing to me.
Well, we didn't have the actual CD, but the demo was free online.
Well, was this on the PC or on Xbox?
Yes, the PC.
Because, I mean, one thing I do find pretty neat about the Xbox, even though I never had one, was the fact that they could do a LAN without, just directly connecting to each other. I thought that was something cool that they
mm-hmm. I've got stories about that.
Yeah, don't worry, we'll get there. But the big thing was we started playing because you could actually download it, which was, that was a rare thing back in the day. But now it's because the demo only had one level and one map to play the multiplayer on. But you could connect peer-to-peer and play online or play through the LAN. And once we found out the LAN extended throughout the entire series of dorms that we had in that our area, we spread the word, and suddenly there were just Halo fights all the time.
Oh yeah.
On the demo edition. And we got really good. And then for Christmas I asked for the actual game because I'm like, man, I've played so much, I actually kind of want the game. Played the campaign. Halo still just holds up to this day as one of the just best campaigns I've ever played.
It's a great game.
But I started playing online and I learned how small that pond was.
Oh yeah.
As people just started showing me,
how little you knew.
Yeah, well, because I only knew one map, Blood Gulch.
Right.
But it was just one of those things that I start fighting other people. You start getting the people who are really good at sniping. I'm like, man, they're way better at sniping than the Harrises.
Yeah, no, my LAN experience, I went to one LAN party with a girl that I liked back in college for Halo, and I just didn't really get engaged. But Halo 2 came out. And I remember going home for Christmas to visit my family, and my sister actually used to live in the house next door to my parents. And I went over there, and her husband had networked the house. This is back before that was actually a very common thing.
Yeah.
And he had 2 Xboxes, one upstairs and one downstairs, and he was doing a LAN party with his 2 boys. So one of them was upstairs and one of them was downstairs, and they were 1v1ing. But all of us except for I think he was 10 at the time, were upstairs, and then he was downstairs by himself because he had been banished to the basement because he was accused of being a dirty screen watcher. And so he was downstairs playing, and we're all sitting up there. And of course, 10-year-old boy, of course he's going to be better than anyone else around him. But his older brother is 15. This is actually Jordan's and my current roommate. He's my nephew. He was upstairs, and we were watching him play, and he was getting frustrated because he was getting beat a lot. And at one point, finally, he's looking around and can't find him. And my brother-in-law just sort of chuckles. He says, "This is right around the moment where he pops up. He pops up behind you and knocks you in the back of the head." And the older nephew just said, he doesn't even know where and as he is speaking, you can see, if you look up in the corner of the screen, you see a rocket spiraling towards him, and it just blasts him before he can even say the word am. And all of us just busted out laughing. And I remember a few minutes later, I went downstairs to watch the younger nephew. I say, these kids are in their late 20s and early 30s now. But I go downstairs, and he's just sitting there smirking to himself quietly, doesn't say anything. And I just sit there watching him. And just we sit there in silence while he's playing. And then I just sort of hear, I hear a, did you like how I got Christopher? With the with that missile. And I was just like, oh, you heard us, huh? He's like, he just sort of chuckles. Yeah.
So Halo 2 for me, it's important because one, like you said, you could hook it up. So same thing, Christmas, and one of my buddies from my old Boy Scout troop, he's like, hey, you're in town? I'm like, yeah. He's like, do you have an Xbox? And I had just gotten one for Christmas. I'm like, yeah. He's like, do you have Halo 2? And I'm like, I do. And he's like, cool, you should come by to this address. We're doing a LAN party with it. And I'm like, how does that work with an Xbox? Because I didn't know how. And he's like, it's like they're going to have, he has a 16 port switch we're just going to plug into. And apparently that worked. I don't know. And so I found out later when I got there, he stole it from work and was returning it when he got to work in the morning before everyone else. And so
that's funny.
He goes, so we set it up, and I hadn't played the game at all. I just barely gotten it. So I'm not very good, but it was just because everyone's like, bring your own Xbox, bring your own TV to connect it to, and we'll figure it out. And so everyone is just sprawled out in this guy's house, from ages like 16 to 26.
Mm-hmm.
And it was seriously like 18 people or 6. I guess it was a full 16. And it was just a madhouse. This is also the house where I finally got a kill on the guy. And he said, nice shot, Paday, which then sent me back running to my screen name of Splice from freshman year. Because that quickly morphed into Buday. And I didn't want to be a thing that shoots water up people's butts to clean it.
So that was the infamous party. Okay.
Yep, that was the party. Because he had to yell it because I think he was literally playing from the bathroom. Because we are all we're just, everyone's, on any surface where they can get type of thing.
Uh-huh.
And it's like, hey, a sink's like a desk if you have a chair.
And there's an outlet in there.
Yeah.
And you're very brave.
Indeed. But it was just this was like, to me, the golden era of LAN. And the Xbox, for all its faults, the way they made LANing your systems together so easily was just absolute perfection. All right. So one of the other big games for LAN, and I purposely found a LAN party for it, was Counterstrike.
Somebody just joined.
We have a breakfast.
Or do we?
I don't know. Just keep talking.
Oh, no. Breakfast. You have to answer the question. What was the first game you land?
Land.
The first game that technically it was not a LAN. Oh, hold on. I got my headset on backwards.
Yeah, it turns out my first one was Hearts, and I hadn't realized it till we started talking.
The first game that I ever played multiplayer over the PC was via null modem cable.
What's that? I don't even know what that is.
Don't even know what it predates the LAN.
Okay, what is it?
The null modem cable was a means by which you could directly connect two computers via a serial port in the back.
Ooh,
like the 12-pin serial port?
Yeah, the bus.
Okay.
So it's like a LAN without the network aspect.
Exactly. And it was
Okay.
essentially using modem protocols, but without the need for a modem. It was just a cable that you plugged into the back of two different box CPU units.
I'd definitely count that as a LAN.
And the first game I played on that was Descent.
Oh, Descent.
Nice.
And for those who may not know, Descent was an mid to early 90s 360 degrees first person shooter where instead of just being a dude running around with a gun, you're piloting a hovercraft and you can move in full 360 degrees. And boy, howdy, did you get lost on those maps.
Yep, no gravity in that game.
No gravity. You had full range of motion. So you had a strafe, you had all you had look, you had strafe, and then you had strafe up and down. And then you had roll because you had to orient yourself sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
Just on occasion.
Oh my goodness, this Counter-Strike map is bringing back memories.
So I specifically looked for an old land thing, and it's clear it's this guy's like group of friends, and he made like a highlight video of their LAN party. And this video is like 14 years old or something. It's insane.
Nice.
Man, if I'm honest, Counter-Strike was like the only game that surround sound actually mattered. And like my computer setup, I mean, my very first computer I built myself, I had 5.1 surround sound, but I've only had stereo ever since with a subwoofer. But I had like satellite speakers that I had on they were kind of like bar stools that I stole from my parents, and I had speakers set up on them, so there was, the rear right was directly, to my rear right and rear left, so using bar stool speakers to have that. And I actually cared about, just sneaking around, because in Counter-Strike, Counter-Strike is a much slower game than others, because you're sneaking around a lot, and hearing every footstep and being able to determine what direction it came from was so important. And I've never had a game since where that mattered so much.
Well, the reason it's a slower game and the reason you're sneaking around is because it was one life, one death.
Yeah, one life.
It was one of the first games that incorporated that, because most other multiplayer games at the time were just you die, you spawn back in. They wanted to keep you playing.
But like, man, as I see him on this map, it's like, oh my goodness, I just remember like hearing a footstep and having to turn and quickly be able to shoot, and the M4A1 rifle that he's holding, that was like the best gun. And oh my goodness, I actually did play a lot of Counter-Strike back in the day.
I didn't play a lot of the original Counter-Strike. I didn't start playing Counter-Strike until about Counter-Strike Source, which I played for a few years, and then you guys got me into TF2, and that kind of died.
Yeah,
TF2, yeah, surround sound did not matter. TF2 is just loud always. You can't, other than listening for spies uncloaking, the sound is just chaos.
And that's one of those, that's loud on purpose.
Oh, yeah.
See, I just remember one time what was it I did? I don't remember who it was, but with TF2, I saw that I had some friends playing, and so I just loaded in, joined, just curious, and everything was just utter madness, and I was just like, nope. I just sort of immediately dropped it because it was insane.
But man, I do remember, I guess, I don't know if you count this for LAN party, but like when me and Lizzie first got married, our computers were right next to each other, and we'd play TF2. I mean, we'd be playing online, but the two of us were, LAN together.
Well, first I'm going to say no, because being married is cheating somehow. But
well, that, I guess, I mean, now, technically, sometimes I play with, as a family, where the kids are on the kids' computer, and we're on our own computer. We're playing a LAN game together of Satisfactory or Stardew Valley.
All I'm hearing is Lunasar just scoreboarding the crap out of us.
Well, once you mentioned the whole 16 port switch, I'm like, oh yeah, I guess I just have multiple computers and multiple people in my house now. So
Yeah, but you spawned them. I don't think it counts.
it doesn't count. Okay, so they have to, it doesn't count if you spawn them, huh?
Different meaning of spawn camp.
Yeah, that's exactly what's happening. Thank you. I'm glad someone saw the direction I was heading with this.
But now Splice, there is a game that I played a LAN. Like I LANed with you one time that you haven't mentioned.
Yes, you may go ahead. Oh,
So-
SWAT 4.
So this game I learned probably actually a few months ago was actually a spin-off of a Sierra adventure game that I was a fan of called Police Quest. And after 3 or 4 Police Quests, they came out with Police Quest SWAT. And then it eventually just became SWAT, and SWAT 4 is the one that I played with y'all. I only remember the one event. You've done this far more than I ever have.
Well, this actually was started. This is another. The Harris Bros started us on this.
Right. I'm like, why do I know this? Why do I know this? Oh, a previous podcast.
Yes, the Harris Bros started us on this, and they. The first time we played this would have been our sophomore year in our really crappy dorm, where they, unfortunately for everyone else, our utility closet had the so bad had the modem for our wing of the apartment complex. And so we just started plugging and unplugging to figure out exactly which ports were ours.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, that's funny.
Wait, you had access to that?
Yes, it was just in our closet.
Like in your room, in your closet.
Well, it was a utility closet.
So like where like the water heater is and that sort of
yeah.
thing?
And
But
so
in the apartment
gosh.
of college guys.
Yeah.
So they didn't separate it into its own room. It was just it.
No.
Wow.
And so we just plugged and unplugged till we found out exactly which ports we were. And which it's really bad because that meant anytime anyone's internet went out, someone would have to come into our apartment to look at it.
That's fun.
Just horribly. I hated the Elms apartment complex so much.
Well, I guess with great power comes great responsibility. So.
Or great abuse. And so we found it out. And so we hooked it up and started playing SWAT 4, which they had. And I don't know if this, for me, the game sessions blur together. Were you there with the flashbang from hell?
I can't remember because
so
I vaguely remember the night, but you've told stories so much that I don't even remember which ones I was there for anymore.
All I remember is we were on a map, and it's one of the later maps where people actually have guns and they'll fire at you. And so we have because you get more points if you take them in alive. And so if you're going to take them in alive, you have to really plan things out.
Right.
And so we had flashbangs, we had door jams, we had everything ready. And so we had this whole plan. It's like, all right, I'll open the door. Tyler's going to throw the flashbang. Then we're going to close it so it goes off. And then it's like, all right, ready, go. And Tyler panics, throws the flashbang. Gordon opens the door. And
Order of operations.
Yes, it bounces off the door right at our feet. So now we've opened the door. A flashbang goes off. We've flashbanged ourselves. The thieves come in and blow us all away. And it's just, Gordon's like, you were supposed to wait for the door to open. I panicked. We're just laughing at our incompetence. And we're just like, oh man, protect and serve. That's us.
We should do this professionally.
As far as I'm watching this gameplay, it feels a lot like Payday, which is funny because it's kind of
It is
the
kind
opposite, but the same.
yeah. Well, cause it's a tactical shooter,
Yeah.
and so yeah, it's Payday definitely owes a lot of its lineage to things like SWAT. But no, I don't. This game it leads to craziness. So the best kind of
Yes.
game.
No, I remember doing the LAN party at your old apartment and my old roommate Nick came with us. And
That's the one I remember the most, and it's mostly because of, ironically, Nick, who didn't even play the game with us. He just
provided commentary.
Yeah, he just commenting snarkily the entire night.
Well, and the thing is, he was over on his laptop, just dinking around on his laptop, only half paying attention, more paying attention to what we were saying than what was on our screens.
And just making occasional, like just these half lines. The one I'll never forget. Being, you hear some character just go. It's something to the effect, and it's like, "Where are you?" Like, just real deep. It was like, "Where did that come from?" And he just goes, the back of his throat.
It was so weird.
Is that a Monty Python reference?
I don't
No,
think
it was
it
just
is. Because the guy was talking from the back of his throat.
He would make that kind of observation.
Get the back of the throat.
Yeah. And he was brilliant. Like, it's just, I don't know how to explain it other than
he had such an odd sense of humor that, yeah, it was great.
No one else had it.
For maybe Colasos.
That's who we're talking about.
Oh, it was him? Oh.
Yes.
Wow. Okay. So I identified him just from the humor. Okay.
Yes. It is identifiable.
All right. Okay.
No one has his sense of humor except him himself.
This is true. I mean, his sense of humor is like a fingerprint, apparently.
It
kind of
really is.
He was fun.
You were going to say something, Breakfast?
No, it was unrelated.
Oh, okay. No, this was a great. This is also a game I am fairly certain we didn't have any legit copies of except whatever the first one was. I should buy that.
A lot of times that was what happened with LAN parties back in the day.
Yeah. Well, and it was kind of
because only one person had one copy of the game, so you had to rip it to get it onto everyone else's computer.
Yeah. And it was sort of, I think in many, I really do think it was kind of a feature, not a bug, where they kind of knew that this was advertising for the game.
Technically, I didn't do that too often, especially with Descent, because one trick we learned about Descent is that it only checked to see if the CD was in there when you started the game.
Mm-hmm.
So once the game was running, you could freely pull the disc out and stick it into someone else's machine and start it up there.
Well, the thing is, Nintendo's actually kind of returned to, like, I know they're getting a lot of grief for some of their practices right now, but they have kind of returned to that whole thing of if you're playing multiplayer and one of you has the game, that's actually okay. That it works that way. It's built in to work that way for several games now.
Well, like, actually, I remember a way that a lot of the games used to do with LAN. If you were on a LAN instead of connected to the internet, they didn't actually care if you were using the same CD key. And I think that was a feature because, that's actually what drove a lot of sales, honestly. Like, I mean, I wouldn't have ever bought Starcraft if I hadn't, played it with my friends first on their copy. So,
yep.
I mean, yeah. Playing with friends was the best advertisement that any game could possibly have.
What is going on with this lady?
So you had to get them to put their hands behind their back if you were going to tie them up, and a lot of, like, because they gave them different personalities, and she's like the mother of the guy you're supposed to take in.
He just shot her in the leg, and she's just like, nope, I'm
No, so the thing, we would bring pepper ball rounds, and we would just mace her essentially. to get
Yeah, I
her to
remember pepper
comply.
balls. I remember beanbag rounds as well.
That was always fun with a shotgun. Announce your presence with authority. But no, this game was good. Anyway, the other one, I don't have any video from it because it was a mod, and I don't even remember what it's a mod for. Was something called Sky Pirates or Air Pirates? I don't remember what. But
well, last time we were talking about SWAT 4, you brought it up, and we
Oh, that's
eventually
right.
found it. I'm
that's
trying to think
right. That
we
did,
did find it.
yeah. I can't remember if it's Sky Pirate. No.
The Sky Pirate? No. Oh shoot, we found it last time. I know we did. And
Air Pirates
And there's-
game mod. I don't know. Point is, it was another one we did that was a lot of fun in that apartment, which was crappy. Let's see. What was one of the other ones we had? I know you weren't here for it, Breakfast, but did you want to talk about Worms at all?
I played Worms, but I haven't ever really played it with any of you.
It doesn't have to be with us. If as long as it was on a LAN, you're
Yeah.
going to talk about.
Worms isn't a LAN game, though. You just have the whole thing running on one computer.
I
It's
played
all-
it on a LAN.
I mean, the only time I played Worms, we were all just hanging around a single computer.
Yeah, I mean that's the way I played it too. But
Yeah, I found out about it on Worms Armageddon is the one. You know, because now there's a million games in the series, but
Yeah, roughly.
Now, the one LAN party that will always stick in my head is one where my whole family was involved.
Oh,
Like literally every male member, married and born into the family, got involved in this LAN party. It was a Christmas year, and it's very rare for everyone to be home, but we all were for that Christmas. And we fired up Battlefield 1942.
I didn't even realize that had LAN to LAN
Oh, yeah.
capability.
The original Battlefield? Oh, yeah. Fully LAN supported.
Man,
And
that had to be
we-
insane.
Just had a blast with it. And there was another game we played. It was a Quake 3 mod. But I don't remember what it was called.
So I found another Quake 3 LAN party. I think it might be modded.
But it made the game more like Counterstrike. And so it was kind of like a Quake 3's version of Counter-Strike, except you could also like cut holes and climb over fences and stuff. So it added a little more dynamic to things. But it was just such a fun year. Every single member of my family remembers it.
There's something like, again, it's just that ability to all be in the same location.
well, there's something cool about actually like, you know, yes, when you're on voice chat, you hear reactions and stuff, but it's different from being in the same room.
Yeah. And it's one of those things that I would never want to go back to pre-internet days due to the convenience, but you also have to accept that there is a price that is paid for it.
It's like couch co-op. It just doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, it's too much of a hassle to get everyone in. And it's a shame. Cuz when it works, it is so much fun. But yeah, like the amount of coordination though it takes to get one of these LANs going.
And you'd spend more than half the time just trying to get the dang computers to connect with each other.
Yes.
Something would go wrong. You'd fix one problem, and then suddenly another computer decides it doesn't want to communicate anymore, and you just cannot figure out why. It was all just TCP fixed that. But the IPX protocol was absolutely notorious for just bugging out.
Got to figure out why you cannot get eFlask.
which the null modem cable solved, because I never had a problem. The problem is it was limited to only 2 computers at a time. But I abused that sucker.
Yeah, that's one heck of a limitation.
I took that to school in 7th and 8th grade because we had 2 computers in the class sitting right next to each other, and the teacher let me install Descent onto it. And so I would connect them together and play with my classmates, and I bullied them because they had no idea what they were doing.
Good times.
It was mean. Although
bully the noob.
Concurrently to Descent, the other game that we all often played with the null modem cable was, and we also played this over an actual modem. We actually phoned up a friend to over dial-up modem, using up our family's telephone line to call a friend and play Warcraft 2.
That was exactly what Bill was talking about.
What was that? Oh, Warcraft 2.
Over the modem.
Yeah, over modem.
No, we did it over a LAN.
Oh, okay. I thought you were saying it was over a modem.
No, it was at my brother-in-law's office.
Gotcha. Okay.
Now my friend, or my brother actually had a friend who had Warcraft 2, and he gave us a cracked copy of it so that we could play. And that was the other game. Although I never wanted to play against him because he was way too good. In fact, I never wanted to play against anybody because the other person I played real-time strategy against was Lunasar's brother-in-law, Falcon. And
he's good.
He
at stuff.
was merciless, except one time. One time I beat him, and that was because we were playing Starcraft. And this was actually a LAN, so we were playing Starcraft in the LAN. We were in the same room, and we were initially playing co-op, so we were, versing the computer. And we just go on and we wipe the computer and we kill it and we wipe it out and we make sure there's nothing left and the game doesn't end. And I'm wondering why the game doesn't end. Well, as we were defeating the computer, Falcon had removed allied status because that was something you had to do in game. And he started attacking me. However, Falcon played Protoss, and he relied heavily on Arbiter units, which cloaked all the units underneath them. He made one tactical mistake, though. He forgot to turn off Allied Vision.
Yeah.
So he starts attacking me, and my units all start firing back. And even though he's supposed to be cloaked, he's like, "Why isn't he doesn't have any detection? Why are you units shooting at me? How can they see me?" And I was able to see everything he was doing, and using that, I was able to outplay him, and I beat him. But that was the only way I was ever able to do it.
Well, that was one thing that's so devious about StarCraft. The whole you could mess with the who's on your team mid-game, so you could form and break alliances.
Yeah, if you wanted to play a game like that.
Which caused some crazy situations for sure.
It's a fun little feature if you want to do diplomacy style games. I didn't. That was definitely not my cup of tea, but I was intrigued by the concept.
So I pulled up the old stream, and it's Air Buccaneers was the game you were
That's Airbucks. That's what it is. Airbucks. It's one of those games that it required way too much cooperation to be something you could consistently do. But it's like most co-op games, when you start playing it, when it works, it is so much fun. I've actually toyed with the idea of doing co-op nights for the stream.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And it would require more coordination. 'Cause I would love, and this is just, I would love so much to do Helldivers with you guys, but there's other easier co-op games to start with.
Here, I thought you were gonna have us play SWAT 4.
Don't get me wrong, it's on the list. Helldivers is the perfect game for me. It has exactly my version of humor. It is so over the top.
Yeah, but that would require me owning it.
Well,
Yeah.
that'd be part of it. And so it's just
having
just
a
an idea.
PlayStation account.
You don't need to have a PlayStation account. You haven't had to have a PlayStation account ever because it worked. And in fact, actually, they've now entirely walked back the region locking. What was the game that they got Sony to do that? I can't remember what it was. It was somewhat recently.
Stellar Blade?
No, or it might have been the Stellar Blade people. I can't remember. Someone, I feel like it was more recent though. I don't know. Someone, basically they were able to talk Sony into it.
Into doing what?
Into dropping their dumb region policy because they wanted to force people onto the PlayStation Network. And they finally convinced them, it's like, guys, if we don't have region locking, we could sell more units.
But if we disable region locking, then we can't, authoritarianly police everything our gamers are doing.
Yeah, I really like that would be one thing. I really don't think that's the case with Sony. I really think with them, it's just, well, but we need them in our ecosystem. Like, I think it's even more short-sighted than that. It's one of those things. It's like, it's so incompetent. I can't tell if it's malicious or what. Anyway, that's a different topic. But I don't know. I thought it could be fun. Pirate brought it up, and so I figure with us discussing lands, we might bring it up.
Would you want to have that be part of an Overleveled 1 week, or
something like that?
Thing?
Yeah, that's what it'd be. It'd be part of Overleveled. Also, man, this is a heavily modded version of Quake 3.
It really is.
Yeah.
He has killed, see, there's Bender, Sonic. I saw Johnny Bravo earlier.
Homer Simpson.
Yeah.
Is that Ken?
I am unsure. Because that's the other thing about Quake, is it's so fast-paced.
Yes, it is.
I remember the first time I saw someone playing it, I just like, okay, I can't play this game. I would get so motion sick.
You don't want to try Quake Live?
No. Well, especially once you start getting the people who can bunny hop properly, it's a ballet of violence, and it's beautiful to watch them play. But man, I could not do it.
The other thing that's crazy is that 9 Inch Nails did the soundtrack, and so the ammo for the nail gun actually has their logo on it.
Well, that was the original Quake. I don't know if that's true for Quake 3.
I mean, I'm talking about Quake 1.
Oh, okay.
No, this is insane. No, the bunny hoppers are they're just on a different level. This is, for the record, what they were playing in the physics, what was supposed to be the homework lab. Walk in one day and I just see all the computers, everyone's just playing Quake. And I'm just over here like, are we not doing E&M homework? They're like, no, we're playing Quake. Get in here. Needless to say,
I don't want to be a party pooper.
Yeah, no, it's like, who wants to be in the middle of college? Like, guys,
giant spider.
We need to be responsible.
I remember this map.
I must have missed that day.
Yeah, no, the physics department took them a while to understand how to properly set permissions on their machines, because they were also the ones that had the person who set up their website secretly put Robot Unicorn Rainbow Attack in the background of their website, and if you typed the Konami code on the website, you could start playing it. And unfortunately for them, someone spread the word and it went viral on campus, and suddenly the entire physics website, where, you know, kids have to turn in their homework and stuff, won't load because the entirety of campus is playing Robot Unicorn Rainbow Attack.
I do remember that.
Someone got in trouble for that. I know that someone. It's like, ugh. But yeah. Anyway, LANs. They're awesome. Anyone else got any more LANs they want to talk about?
I think I covered it.
All right. That is perfectly fine.
No, one thing that is interesting, the company I work for, they actually do have a monthly LAN party.
Do they now?
Now they call it that. I think it's sort of a hybrid because they have a whole list of games. It's really cool though. The chief infosec officer pays for dinner for everyone, and then other people bring like sides and desserts and stuff like that, and then just set up and play whatever games.
That is awesome.
Wow.
So I've never really done it because I just don't really. I don't want to bring my box in and.
Yeah, it is like that's the issue. It is
that's the hardest thing about a LAN party. If you don't have like a gaming laptop, you got to bring your big desktop around, and it's just rough.
Which is what we all did back in the day.
Yes, we did, and I hated it.
Yeah,
well, and just there's wires everywhere.
Exactly.
Well, I mean, especially back when monitors were still CRTs.
Yep.
They were huge and weighed a ton. At least now with an LCD, they're they're small and light.
Well, and when wireless networks weren't even a thing.
And you want to have your have your mom take you in the minivan so she can put the computer in the back.
I didn't have to worry about that too much because all the LAN parties more often than not were at my house. Because my dad already had A, 3 computers there, and B, actually knew how to set them up.
And so this was brought up by Lizzie in our private chat, but the famous LAN image.
Which I noticed actually was in your Halo 2 video. They pulled up that image too. So I was like, cool.
This image is just still, if you guys can't see it because I can't pull it up, but this is the guy in the duct tape hanging from the ceiling. I want to know, there's got to be some way to find who the people were at this LAN, and I want them to explain that process. How long did he stay up there?
Oh yeah, there's so many questions about this famous photo.
And whose idea was it?
Yeah. And who was the madman who said, "Yes, I volunteer as tribute. I will be duct tape man." Because I'm just looking at the duct tape, Looney, you're the engineer here. Do you feel that this was a rigorously tested engineering project?
No, I was just thinking, you can't see how it's attached. I'm like, hopefully it's going around an I-beam, because if it's just taped to the to the rafters,
I'm pretty sure that's going around the I-beam several times over. My question is,
it looks like he's been it looks like he's been mummified to it.
Actually, you know what? If you look at the feet, you can tell. Yes, it is to the I-beam. Which, if it's going as it looks like it is going around the I-beam, I actually think it's going to be hard to get him down.
You just start cutting the tape. Start at the legs.
Yep.
Use a box cutter and be very, very careful.
Nah, pair of
So yeah,
scissors.
I don't think there was much testing involved, but if it's around, yeah, it's definitely around that I-beam, and yeah, that'd actually be pretty darn secure. Actually,
I want to know where they're at. There's an I-beam just exposed like that.
They're clearly in
An
some sort of
unfinished basement.
basement because if you look in the far left, you can see the handle, the guardrail of the stairs.
Yeah, no, an unfinished basement. That's easy to have. I-beams are just exposed like that.
But I mean, just look at this glorious. Well, it's what you know. This group of friends talk about this LAN over and over again the rest of their life. You remember when we hugged Jimmy from the ceiling? That went viral. Nobody knows it's us. And now one of them's like an accountant, something boring. He sees the image and a single manly tear goes down.
Well, okay, I guess AI says his name is Drew Purvis, and
I don't believe it. Made up.
and it looks like he's made some videos recreating it since.
Well, I'm gonna have to look this up. Because I want to know. Anyway, LAN parties. They're awesome.
Apparently, there's a documentary titled "Internet Legends Duct Tape Gamer."
Okay. Let's see. Just gonna be saving that for later. Anyway. Okay. Let's get this wrapped up. Breakfast, would you like to promote anything?
I got nothing to promote at the moment. I'm enjoying Expedition 33.
All right, perfect.
Which I've started playing at a certain Baggins request.
Which Baggins? Can you reveal that at this time?
No, I'm not at liberty to say.
Gotcha. All right.
Respect. It's Bilbo, not Frodo.
I thought it was Fordor.
No Frodo Baggins.
Anyway, Lunar, would you like to promote anything?
Yeah, I'll promote Lizzie's stream of the Lizzie Petrichor, where she on Twitch, where she does shiny hunting, and she is currently trying to finish up her spelling her name in shinies. She finally did get the Zigzagoon, and now she is doing encounters for Yamper to finish that up.
What's Yamper?
It's an electric puppy.
Okay. Bagginses.
I will promote Costa Rica because I just spent a week there and had heat exhaustion. So make sure to drink plenty of water if you visit, or if you're in any hot area.
Pura vida.
What if I live in a hot area?
Then drink a lot of water.
Oh, crud! I've been doing it all wrong.
Apparently.
I wonder I've got so many headaches.
The blood of my enemies wasn't enough to sustain me.
The other part about it's not just enough to drink a lot of water when you're down there in the near the equator. You actually have to sweat too.
What?
When the first time I was down by the equator, like I never had been able, like my body didn't know how to handle it. So I was drinking all the water, but it meant nothing because I wasn't actually sweating at all, and I was just getting heat strokes so bad. But yeah, not so fun times those days. But eventually learned. Body eventually adjusted to the equator.
All right. Well, and you all can find me twitch.tv and kick.com/splicestream, where I am posting. We're just streaming, and we are still in the thick of the Pro Amiibo League. So if you'd like to see robots beat each other up and watch people's souls slowly leave their body as they don't do the things they train them to do, then that's the stream for you. That's all I got.
Well, guys, I think we